memories. That is all I am taking with me.
Fans paid hundreds of dollars for tickets. They got slurred words, forgotten songs, and performances that ended before they started. Some shows became so legendary they destroyed careers. Others were the final warning before the obituary. Here are 12 musicians too wasted to perform. Number 12, Keith Richards. Nodded off during live performances multiple times throughout the 70s. The European tour with the Stones in 1973 saw him falling asleep standing up mid-song on multiple nights. The band learned to cover for him. Mick Taylor picked up the guitar parts when Keith drifted away. Jumpin' Jack Flash and Brown Sugar played with 4 band members instead of 5, while Keith stood motionless on stage. Toronto police arrested him with enough heroin to kill a horse, according to the officers who found it. Played shows so intoxicated he couldn't remember them the next day. Band members had to tell him what happened. Somehow the Stones never actually stopped a show completely. They just played around him. Honky Tonk Women without the signature riff. Satisfaction with Mick Taylor covering both guitar parts. The fans noticed. The band kept going. Chaos became part of the legend rather than destroying it. How is Keith Richards still alive? Became a cultural question that lasted decades. Fans expected the dysfunction, bought tickets hoping to witness it. True Stones fans know which tours were the lost ones, can tell you which bootlegs feature Keith awake versus Keith absent. The indestructibility became his brand. Everyone else just wondered how he was still standing. Number 11, Jim Morrison. Dinner Key Auditorium in Miami became the show that killed the Doors' touring career. Morrison showed up an hour late, visibly drunk before taking the stage. Rambling, incoherent between songs, couldn't get through Light My Fire without forgetting the lyrics. The signature song of the Doors, and Jim kept stopping, starting over, laughing at himself. Break On Through fell apart halfway through. The end never even started. Allegedly exposed himself on stage, though this remains disputed over 50 years later. What's not disputed, he taunted the audience, fought with crowd members verbally, turned the concert into a confrontation instead of a performance. The show descended into chaos.
China, we can only lose, and our love become a funeral pyre.
Police got involved, fans demanded refunds. The Doors left Miami in disgrace, arrested on indecency charges days later. Convicted the following year, sentenced to 6 months hard labor, never served time due to appeals process, died before it could be resolved. Doors concert bookings dried up almost immediately after Miami. The last Doors album got recorded in 1970. Jim was dead by the following summer. True Doors fans still debate what actually happened that night. Everyone agrees Miami killed the band's ability to tour. Number 10, Ozzy Osbourne. After Randy Rhoads died in that plane crash, severe alcoholism took over completely. Ozzy urinated on the Alamo Memorial while wearing one of Sharon's dresses, got arrested and banned from San Antonio for a decade. Multiple shows canceled because he literally couldn't stand up. Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley canceled because Ozzy was unconscious in the hotel. The Bark at the Moon tour saw him forgetting lyrics to his own songs, falling off stages, needing band members to hold him upright. The bat-biting incident happened because he was so wasted, he didn't realize it was a real bat until it bit him back. Thought it was rubber. Iron Man and Paranoid from the Sabbath days, songs he'd sung 1,000 times, suddenly gone from his memory mid-performance. Sharon became his manager, specifically to save him from himself. Multiple rehab attempts through the 80s followed. Shows became completely unpredictable. Some nights great, other nights disasters. True fans from that era have stories of both extremes, never knew which Ozzy would show up. Career survived because Sharon controlled the damage and the narrative. The chaos somehow made him more famous, not less. The Prince of Darkness became the Prince of Dysfunction. Number 9, Brian Wilson. The anxiety attack started during a flight to Houston. Brian Wilson stopped touring with the Beach Boys entirely and never really went back, replaced live by Bruce Johnston while Brian stayed home in California. Surfin' USA and I Get Around played without the genius who wrote them. The band became a Beach Boys tribute band while the real Beach Boy stayed in his bedroom. The SMILE sessions showed how bad it had gotten. Too incapacitated to complete the album that was supposed to be his masterpiece. Band members found him in a sandbox in his living room wearing a bathrobe, refusing to work. Good Vibrations took months and cost over $50,000 because Brian couldn't focus. Spent months in bed, wouldn't come to the studio. The other Beach Boys recorded Pet Sounds backing vocals while Brian produced from a horizontal position.
The wind that lifts her perfume through the air.
Smile got shelved for 37 years, not completed until 2004. The Beach Boys continued touring without him, became an oldies act while their leader disappeared. Pet Sounds, in 1966, was his peak before the collapse. Decades of reclusiveness and dysfunction followed. True fans mourned the lost genius years, the albums that were never made. Career eventually revived, but the prime years, ages 24 to 30, were lost to the fog. Number 8, Sly Stone. Madison Square Garden sold out. Sly Stone never showed up. Fans waited for hours. Sly never appeared. A riot nearly started. Dance to the Music and Everyday People never got played because the man who wrote them was unconscious somewhere. The European tour that followed saw him miss multiple shows entirely. Just didn't get on the plane. When he actually attended shows, he'd arrive hours late, play 15 to 20 minutes, then leave. Fans paid full price for a quarter of a concert. Thank You by Let Me Be Myself Again played at double speed so he could leave faster. Band members showed up ready to perform. Sly didn't. Happened repeatedly throughout the early 70s. Promoters started demanding cash deposits that Sly would forfeit if he no-showed.
Being bound, that's what it's all about. You can't take me back.
There's a riot going on, reflected the darkness taking over. Concert promoters stopped booking him entirely by mid-decade, too unreliable. Career essentially over by 1975, despite still having the talent buried under the addiction. True funk fans know he invented the sound that Parliament and Prince later built on, then disappeared into the drugs. One of music's greatest what-if stories. The funk could have continued for another decade. Number 7, Steven Tyler and Joe Perry. The Toxic Twins earned the nickname for good reason. Philadelphia saw both of them so wasted they couldn't complete a show together. Steven forgot the lyrics to Dream On, their signature power ballad. Joe couldn't play the solo on Walk This Way, just stood there with the guitar. Shows ending after 45 minutes because both were too incapacitated to continue. Sweet Emotion played without emotion, just muscle memory failing in real time. Falling off stages during Mama Kin, forgetting entire songs from Toys in the Attic, arguing with each other mid-performance during Back in the Saddle. Other band members threatening to quit because the chaos was destroying what they'd built. Draw the Line tour was accurately named, the line between functional and collapsed. Night in the Ruts sessions took forever because neither Steven nor Joe could function in the studio. Joe Perry left Aerosmith in 1979. Brad Whitford followed 2 years later. The band essentially broke up for half a decade. Rock in a Hard Place. Without Joe was a commercial disaster. Nobody wanted Aerosmith without the Toxic Twins. Reunion only happened after serious rehab for both. True fans separate the drugged years from the comeback era. Permanent Vacation proved they could recover and reclaim everything. But the late 70s almost destroyed America's greatest rock band. Before we continue with number 6, I want to hear from you. Which of these wasted performances shocked you the most? Did you ever attend a show where the artist was too messed up to perform? Drop a comment and let me know your story. Also, tell me where you're watching from. We have people tuning in from all around the world. Now let's continue with the top 6. And these final 6 performances were so disastrous, they became the artist's final warnings. Number 6, Marianne Faithfull. Heroin addiction consumed her completely after the breakup with Mick Jagger. Lost custody of her son due to drug use documented by social services. That pristine folk voice damaged from living on the streets of London. That delicate soprano from As Tears Go By wrecked by malnutrition and exposure. Shows and recording sessions canceled throughout the early 70s. She just stopped showing up entirely.
The rooftop where she climbed when all the laughter grew to life.
Friends found her in a squat in Soho, near death from addiction. The angelic voice that sang Sister Morphine became prophetic. People didn't recognize her physically. The transformation was that severe. Career completely derailed for nearly a decade. She essentially disappeared from music. The folk princess of the 60s became a cautionary tale whispered about in the industry.
Picking up magic that grows at his feet. She says her...
The comeback with broken English brought a permanently damaged and transformed voice. The raspy cigarette and whiskey sound became her signature, the direct result of the street years. Never regained the pristine folk instrument from As Tears Go By and Summer Nights. True fans treasure broken English for the survival story it represents. The lost decade happened during her prime, ages 22 to 32, years that could never be recovered. But she survived when most didn't. Number 5. Layne Staley.
The suns on my tongue has been burned up the chain.
Kemper Arena in Kansas City hosted the last Alice in Chains show ever with Layne alive. He was so emaciated and wasted that fans in the front row didn't recognize him initially. Weighed under 100 pounds, heroin addiction visible to everyone in the building. Started Them Bones, forgot the lyrics halfway through. Stumbled through Rooster, the song about his stepfather's Vietnam experience. Couldn't remember the words his own pain had written.
The bullets scream to me from some.
Man in the Box from Facelift fell apart. Wood from the singles soundtrack barely happened. The voice that defined grunge's darkness was already gone, replaced by a hollow echo. Band members looked at each other knowing this was the end. Jerry Cantrell tried to carry the show, but you can't have Alice in Chains without Layne. All remaining tour dates got canceled after Kansas City. Layne disappeared after that show, became a recluse in his Seattle condo. The band went on hiatus that lasted over a decade. Jerry pursued a solo career while waiting for Layne to get clean and come back. Layne never performed again, found dead in his apartment, estimated to have died 2 weeks before anyone noticed. True grunge fans knew the dirt and jar of flies. Layne was already gone. Kansas City was just the official ending everyone saw coming. Number 4. Amy Winehouse. Belgrade was supposed to be her redemption. First show of her European comeback tour, tickets sold out instantly. Too intoxicated to remember lyrics to her own songs. Tried to sing Back to Black, gave up halfway through and wandered around the stage. Started rehab. The irony lost on no one. Couldn't finish it. They tried to make her go to rehab. She said, no, no, no. And here was the result. Stumbled through You Know I'm No Good, forgot verses, mumbled into the microphone. Fans booed, some demanded refunds at the box office during the show. Backing band tried desperately to cover, played the songs perfectly, couldn't save the performance. Valerie started 3 times, never made it to the chorus. Videos went viral within hours, the humiliation global and immediate.
In my head, I feel a breather.
The entire European tour got canceled the next day. 12 shows wiped from the calendar. Public humiliation on a scale rarely seen in modern music. Clear to everyone she was nowhere near ready to perform, should never have been on that stage. Dead less than 2 months later from alcohol poisoning at age 27. True fans knew Belgrade was the final warning everyone ignored. The performance was prophetic, showed she was beyond saving. The voice that won 5 Grammys died in Belgrade before the body died in Camden. Number 3. Whitney Houston.
And I hope you have all you dreamed of.
Australia heard the voice die. The Nothing But Love tour stops down under were especially disastrous. Brisbane saw her voice cracking on I Will Always Love You. Couldn't hit the notes that made her famous. Fans who'd waited decades to see Whitney heard the instrument was broken, raspy, off-key, struggling through I Want to Dance with Somebody, a song she'd sung effortlessly thousands of times. Greatest Love of All fell flat, the irony unbearable. Some fans walked out mid-show, couldn't watch the decline continue. Others stayed and cried, witnessing the destruction of one of music's greatest instruments. Reviews were brutal, heartbreaking, tragic, painful to witness. Fans who'd idolized the voice from The Bodyguard and The Preacher's Wife watched it disappear in real time. Years of crack cocaine and alcohol abuse had destroyed what God had given her.
Holding on to memories, and it hurts me more.
Some shows on the tour were slightly better than others, but the prime voice never returned. That effortless power from the 80s and early 90s was gone forever, found dead in a bathtub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel 18 months later. True fans remember the "I Wanna Dance with Somebody" voice. Actively try to forget the 2010 Australian tour. Those performances showed the legend was already dead. The body just hadn't caught up yet. Number 2. Elvis Presley.
Trapped in a world that's troubled with pain.
The final tour showed America that the king was dying. Rapid City, South Dakota saw him forget lyrics to "Can't Help Falling in Love," his signature closing song. Slurred speech between songs, fans concerned instead of entertained. Omaha witnessed him nearly fall off stage during Hound Dog. Band members had to steady him. The man who'd once commanded stages with sexual energy could barely stand.
Yes, I've had a few.
Indianapolis hosted the last concert ever. Could barely finish "My Way." The song choice now haunting. Forgetting words to "Are You Lonesome Tonight?" Started laughing at his own mistakes during the spoken section. Stumbled through Jailhouse Rock, the choreography long abandoned. Just survival. Obvious to everyone in Market Square Arena that something was seriously wrong. This wasn't showmanship, this was collapse. Dead at Graceland less than 2 months after that final Indianapolis show. Prescription drug abuse. Autopsy found 14 different drugs in his system. Fans who attended those final shows knew they'd witnessed the end, told their friends Elvis was dying. Videos from that summer are painful to watch compared to the 1968 comeback special. True Elvis fans refuse to watch the final performances, prefer to remember the young king. Elvis died on stage before he died in the bathroom. Everyone just waited for it to become official. Number 1. Jimi Hendrix. Isle of Wight Festival put 600,000 people in front of a visibly impaired Jimi Hendrix. Showed up late, guitar out of tune, struggled through Purple Haze and Voodoo Child. The greatest guitarist who ever lived couldn't execute the solos he'd written. Hey Joe fell apart. Foxy Lady was sloppy. The magic was gone. Fans who'd worshipped him saw the genius fading in real time. Germany hosted his final public performance. Open-air Love and Peace Festival on Fehmarn Island. Wind, rain, equipment problems, but also clearly intoxicated beyond functionality. Argued with the audience between songs, cut the set short, walked off angry. All along the Watchtower, barely recognizable. 12 days before his death. The Jimi Hendrix experience had already broken up. This was supposed to be the new beginning. Found dead in a London hotel room, asphyxiated on his own vomit after barbiturate intoxication. The final performances showed the toll of constant drug use, the genius burning out visibly. The man who redefined what guitar could be was past the peak of his ability. True fans debate whether he could have recovered, gotten clean, reclaimed the throne, died at the peak of fame but past the peak of power. The ultimate "too wasted to perform" ending died before there could be a next show. The guitar that set Monterey on fire went silent forever.